In the darkest corners of the internet, whispered tales of a sinister experiment known only as the Abyssal Isolation Experiment have gained notoriety. Much like the infamous Russian sleep experiment, this chilling tale unfolds in an undisclosed, clandestine facility where the limits of human endurance and the fragility of sanity are pushed to the brink. The experiment is said to have taken place during the height of the Cold War, conducted by a shadowy organization with ties to government agencies on both sides of the Iron Curtain. While the exact details remain shrouded in secrecy, the harrowing story that has emerged tells of an inhumane experiment gone horribly wrong. In this malevolent undertaking, 5 volunteers, individuals from diverse backgrounds and experiences, were chosen as subjects. They were promised vast sums of money and a pardon from their various crimes in exchange for their participation, which they had no option but to accept. The subjects were placed in an isolated underground chamber, devoid of any windows, natural light, or external stimuli. The only connection to the outside world was a single, narrow feeding tube. This dark subterranean cell was equipped with a two-way communication system through which the experimenters could monitor and communicate with the subjects. The chamber was fitted with a bed, a toilet, and a sink, all made of stainless steel. In a corner of the room, a motion-activated camera silently recorded their every move. As the days turned into weeks, the volunteers began to exhibit signs of increasing anxiety and paranoia, speaking of whispered voices in the dark and shadowy figures that lurked in the corners of the chamber. The true horrors of the Abyssal Isolation Experiment revealed themselves in the second month. One by one, the subjects began to lose their sanity. Each day their whispers grew more frantic, their sentences fragmented and incoherent. The communication with the experimenters took on a nightmarish quality, as the subjects seemed convinced that they were no longer alone in the chamber. One morning, the cameras captured a gruesome sight. The footage showed the subjects huddled together in a corner, their eyes vacant and hollow. In their hands, they clutched an improvised instrument made from shards of the feeding tube. Their gaunt faces were smeared with their own blood as they repeatedly scratched crude symbols onto the chamber's walls. The experimenters, disturbed and alarmed, made the decision to terminate the experiment. They activated a hidden remote system designed to flood the chamber with a noxious gas that would induce unconsciousness. However, when the gas began to fill the chamber, something inexplicable happened. The subjects, though weak and disoriented, resisted the gas, using the shattered feeding tube as a makeshift weapon to fend off the approach of unconsciousness. When the experimenters realized the gas had no effect, they watched helplessly as the subjects, in their demented state, turned the makeshift weapon on themselves. The chamber's audio feed recorded their horrifying screams and the sickening sounds of self-inflicted violence. As the subjects continued to mutilate themselves, they chanted in a language that defied comprehension. The experimenters could only bear witness to the gruesome, frenzied self-destruction that unfolded before them. In the end, the Abyssal Isolation Experiment ended in a grotesque spectacle of horror and madness. The chamber's camera captured the lifeless, mangled bodies of the subjects, sprawled amid their own blood and gore. Their final agonized moments remained seared in the minds of those who had orchestrated the experiment, haunting them like a malevolent specter. The story of the Abyssal Isolation Experiment serves as a grim reminder of the depths to which human cruelty and depravity can plunge, and a chilling testament to the darkness that can be unleashed in the name of scientific discovery. To this day, the truth about this experiment remains buried beneath layers of secrecy, and the lingering question persists. Did the experimenters truly unleash forces beyond their comprehension, or were they simply the architects of their own descent into madness and despair?